guys have any questions that you want me to answer, opinion-based or cutting-based, whatever, drop them in the comments below. And this next SOB episode, I'll answer them. How about that? So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, critiques, if you want to talk crap about me, if you want to say, dude, what's up with your hair? Why you so weird looking? All that stuff, drop it down below. It's fine. I'll answer anything that is not too personal. So barber news, not a lot right now. We've got some things that, have dropped, which is fantastic. And you've seen the review of the GTX X02, which if you've not tried this thing right here, guys, I'm not blowing smoke. Look, are there trimmers that have more bells and whistles? Sure. The upgraded motor on this trimmer with the M-Force blade is, as far as what you ask for a trimmer to do, it's perfection. It's hard to beat. I digress. I'll get to that later. But, we're still waiting on the Go. We're still waiting on the Play Mini from T-Pub. Those two things from T-Pub. They have released that Lamborghini-inspired JRO set. I've not gotten that yet. I've also not gotten anything from Babyliss in a little bit. So it's truly a privilege to receive these things from these guys. They are very busy people, and I appreciate them helping me by helping me review these things. But it's also, from a solo standpoint, it's also a very expensive thing to do. So one of the favorite things that I've had over the past few weeks, because I'm not doing these every week anymore. My life is just too busy, guys. My schedule is too busy. My life is too busy. Good problem to have, but not great for doing this. One of the coolest things I've experienced lately is this weird thing I'm doing where I'm working at two different solo shops. Without giving too much of my information on the internet, which, it's fine. I have a barber shop in Tennessee. It's in Franklin, Tennessee. I have had a business built up here for about 15 years now, and it's booming. I'm in that wonderful part of being a barber where my efforts of building a clientele have paid off, and I'm on easy mode. I look at my schedule, and so I'll get to the other part here in a second, but I look at my schedule and I can just see what conversations I'm having, what haircuts I'm doing. There's not a whole lot of mystery. I do get new clients here and there, but it's not a lot. And that's okay, because I just need, at this point, trickle in business to help, fill in the spots that happen from people moving, passing away even. And so it's, my time up here in Tennessee is kind of, it's work, don't get me wrong, but it's easy mode. It's the dream. But I don't live in Tennessee anymore. That's the fun fact here. I actually live in Alabama. And so once a week, I drive up to my shop to stay here for a couple days and take care of my clients, and then go back home. And I've been doing that for a little bit over a year now. And it works. I'm a podcast listener. I listen to a lot of podcasts. So my drive is just a podcast away, depending on the podcast. And so it's working. Whenever I come up here, I work long shifts, 12, 13-hour shifts. I sandwich a lot of my people in 2 to 3 days. Then I go home. And on top of that, the town that we moved to, we have no ties to. It was a very affordable property that we really liked. And we like the town, so we're there. And I got this really cool opportunity. And so one of you guys said that working at a cigar shop is peak barbering. And I'll tell you what, man, I agree. This is a really cool opportunity that kind of fell in my lap, of being the solo barber in a cigar lounge. It's called the Cigar Box, and it's in Jasper, Alabama. It is the coolest thing. Great guys, great people. I've loved getting to know everybody there. But that's where it's kind of crazy. Up here in Tennessee, I'm this veteran that I've got 15 years of built up business in this area. I've cut hair in Tennessee for 23 years. But in Alabama, I just had to get my Alabama's barber's license. Like I had to get reciprocity for that, and I've now put up shop, and it's a crazy weird thing because now in that area, I'm the rookie. I'm the new guy. I'm building up my business there while just getting to sustain my business here. It's kind of like I'm living two careers. It's really unique, and it's kind of given me some appreciation for things that I may have forgotten. Whenever you start off in this business, it is intimidating. It's intimidating talking to all these people that you don't know yet. You're trying to make connections. And on top of that, you're trying to figure out what these individual clients mean whenever they just say a little shorter here, a little shorter there. Because not, as you guys know, most of the public is not well versed in barber talk. And so we have to spend our mental energy deciphering what they mean, being sure that we give them the haircut they want, while also introducing ourselves to them and making sure that we are on our A game with our personality. All that being said, the rookie stage of this, the new guy in the area, it is exhausting work. From a mental capacity, it is a very exhausting job. And I love it, but it's something I forgot how taxing it was. For instance, whenever I come up here to Franklin, I'll work 2 to 3 days a week, and I will do sometimes up to 22 haircuts, 24 haircuts in a day. And over the course of those 3 days, there's been times I've done, mid 50s to 60 haircuts in those 3 days. And even though that's a lot of haircuts for that much time, I don't feel mentally drained. I'm probably physically tired at the end of the day. That happens a lot. And, my voice gets tired because I'm talking all day. But it is what it is. It's not that difficult. But in my 2 days, I'm working down there, 2 8-hour shifts. I've found myself at the end of those 2 days, I'm beat. It's interesting. I did more haircuts today in Franklin than I did in those 2 days down there because I'm still building up my business, getting the word out, which, guys, no matter how long you've done this for, if you do something like I'm doing now, you have to start fresh. There is no cheat code to that. You just have to start fresh. And so I'm experiencing this, and it's just, I don't know, it's an interesting purview. I feel very blessed. I've got a good crew around me down there. The manager of the cigar shop, the owner of the cigar shop, they are putting out posts because, once again, I'm new to that area. I don't really know anybody. So I can post all I want. It's not going to go anywhere. But they're using their network to help me with that, and it's filling up my book. I did get a really cool blurb from a bit of a celebrity client of mine up here in Nashville, and I'll go ahead and show that right here.
I've been watching you, that ain't that cool. Just when I thought it couldn't get no hotter, I caught a glimpse of the farmer's daughter, and it makes me want to take a back road, makes me want to take the long way home.
Hey boys, I've had haircuts all over the country, son, and nobody gets it right like Matt Hargrove, the Woodshed Barber. This man's not just a barber, he's a hair whisperer. Matt is the GOAT, the Michael Jordan of scissors and clippers. If your head was a basketball, this man is dropping 50. From mullets to mohawks, crew cuts, it don't matter. Matt's got it all going on at the Cigar Box in downtown Jasper. So y'all book him now before you can't. I'm serious. Best barber ever. They don't make them like Matt no more.
Now look, I am in no way saying that is true. I'm not the Michael Jordan of barbering. That is just a very sweet friend of mine that he put that out there, and it's very kind words. And from his point of view, he says, "Man, whatever you say, dude, it's true." I'm like, "Look, thanks, man." That sometimes that's all you can say to people is thanks. So, Rodney, I appreciate you, brother. And that's another thing, utilizing the business you've already built to help build your next one. I don't feel guilty for doing that. Over time, because once again, guys, you're going to have barbers out here on the internet saying, don't get it twisted, your clients are not your friends. Maybe theirs are not. Mine are. I don't know what to tell you. And like I said in early videos, if that's the way you're doing it, I hate to say it, you're missing it. You're doing part of it wrong. You might be a hell of a good barber, but there's so much more to connect with doing this business. You become a friend. You almost become like an uncle to some of these kids. Like it's a furthering of relationship if you choose to let it be. And so utilizing my friends to help me, boost my visibility down there, I have no problem doing that. And they're more than happy to. So it's this really cool thing that I'm juggling right now. And it's a lot. But that's all I'm going to say about that. It's just, I may have different insight as we go along. It's fun. And one of my favorite things, and guys, once again, this is just me talking about barbering as a whole. I want to be getting into some tool stuff here soon. But the one thing I love doing is I love talking about what I like to call the theology of barbering. And I jokingly say that. No, I really do. But there's a specialness to what we do. And not to wax too poetic about it, but it's a privilege to be able to encounter people the way we get to and to be part of it. And one thing I've enjoyed, and this cigar shop has a crew of guys who are there a lot. They're very diverse. They come from different backgrounds, different ethnicities, different jobs. And it's created a crew of men that, man, it's... So I'll go into it with this. One thing that the church, whether you're religious or not, one thing that the church does magnificently well is create community. And not just community as in, oh, it's where your friends are. It's like, no, it creates friendships that most people on a regular basis wouldn't really get to experience. Some of my most important people in my life who have poured into me and helped me become the man that I am are people that if I just left to my own devices, was hanging out with my peers, people who have like interests, they would have never been in my life. So that's one thing that the church does amazingly well, is it sets stuff like that up. And I don't know if you guys know this, but a barbershop can be that too. Now, I know COVID changed a whole lot of stuff, and you don't have guys just hanging out in the barbershop as much as they used to, especially with appointments taking over. Appointments are a big part of the thriving part of what has made barbering better, in my opinion. But on top of that, you do have this capability of having a community of guys who just for a minute get to enjoy each other. And you've heard me say this too. I talk all day. Sometimes we think that other people share our livelihood, but they don't. There's an interesting mindset you may need to think about sometimes whenever you're working with your clients, that you might be the only non-work, non-family related conversation that person has all week. They may have a computer job where they're just staring at a screen all day. I don't know why I did a little John Cena there, but you might be the only person that they encounter in a tangible, normal way all week. And there's a responsibility to that for you. That's like, hey, what kind of encounter am I going to provide this guy with? Is it going to be a good one? Is it going to be maybe something extra that person needs besides just a haircut? And so one thing I've experienced at the cigar box is that same thing I just mentioned with church. I'm experiencing there with these guys who are just hanging out there on a regular basis. There's this one dude, he's close to 80. He's a widower, sweet dude, funny, it cracks me up. I've got a guy that he's a professional photographer. I think he's a little bit younger than me. It's hard to tell sometimes because black don't crack. We know that's true. I show my age a little bit more than a lot of fellows my age. I got a guy that's, a lawyer, a veterinarian, a tattoo artist, different age brackets, some in their 60s, their 50s, their 20s, their 30s, and a couple pastors coming in there. I got guys coming in the barbershop down there in the cigar box itself that they've been working in coal mines for 20 years. And that's a perspective I've never got to experience before. And so it's this really cool thing of whenever you surround yourself with people that are different than you, you grow. Because if all you're surrounding yourself with is people like you, that's just going to keep you the same. It's going to keep you in the same pot of soil. You don't grow from that. You grow from diversity. And so I just would encourage you guys, man, if you don't have something like that, pursue it. Find it. Find a community like that that can help you grow. And that has, it does have to do with barbering. Those of you who have been doing this for years, you know I'm not just sitting here talking bullshit. This is true. It does have to do with barbering, even though it sounds real existential and, out there. But find a community. Find people who help you grow. But that being aside, I'm going to talk about the tool part of this. What do I pick up first now? So if I went back to the way barbering was for me before this channel, before the tool boom that happened right around the time that, right before COVID, honestly, I'd say before that too. 2018, 2017, the tool boom started to happen. Babeless dropped the Gold FX. I want to say 2017, maybe 2018. But 2020, everything started popping. You got T-Pub, you got JRL, you got all these other brands popping in, Caliber, Stylecraft, Gamma. All these brands popped in, and it's like this overload of tools now. Don't get me wrong, obviously I like tools, and I've got a lot of them from pretty much every brand. But which ones do I grab if I was going to go old school Barber mat, and I just have a simple station? What tools am I grabbing? Okay, well, first off, I'm not going to blow smoke. Some of these right here are from the same brand, and it's because they're good. I know that a lot of people love the Octane. I've never really liked the whir, that high-pitched noise it makes. And so for me, the Octane, I know it's a good clipper. I know a lot of people love it. It's just not my cup of tea. So whenever I switched from the old school Oster, 76, the Model 10, whenever I switched from that to the new age of detachables, I switched to the Andis BGR. And so I love the way that Andis does their blade drives. I think that they're very quiet, very smooth, and I have to lay one of them to rest. But this right here is if I had a detachable, this is my detachable. And that is the Pulse ZR. Now, I've charged it, all kinds of stuff. It's finally died on me. But this sucker lasted me 11 years. And this is the original ones that don't have the new battery. This one single battery with its charger lasted me for 11 years. That is some quality tooling right there. Now, Wall has never been big into the detachable game. They've had some attempts to it. They haven't. Oster, dead in the water. They're that Viking ship that's out to sea that we're about to shoot the flaming arrow on. They're dead. They're dead. They can be celebrated for what they were, but they're dead. And I know Heininger, I've not used one of their clippers yet, but I know that they made the Octane. But they're highly celebrated. I've not used one yet, so I can't speak on that. But whether it be the Andis Emerge or the Pulse ZR or the Super ZR, I think either one of those is going to be a great pick. But for me, my number one category for what's going to be on my station is my debulking clipper, which, by the way, Concise just put out a good video on this. The detachables was the thing for a while. It really was. It was for the longest time. And honestly, until pretty recent, I would say probably until the Wall Senior got that more powerful motor in the early 2000s. Until that point, your debulking clipper was your detachable. And your lever arm adjustable clipper was your fading clipper, which meant that it was not debulking as much as it was finessing a fade. And that was the way it was for the longest time. The debulking of the detachable is just, it's unparalleled still. And so for me, my number one tool that would be on my station if I was going old school Matt, one tool of each category, is the Super or the Pulse ZR. I like having a stand. I like the Emerge a lot. It's actually a little quieter at times, but this is a Pulse ZR and it would be number one on my station. So, okay, my main clipper for fading, tapering, my adjustable clipper. What would be the one, not two or three, the one that I would use? Well, last year's clipper of the year was the T-Pod Play. And you might be shocked to hear me say, I will not be picking that for this. And the reason being is that the versatility of what I'm about to talk about just is what it is. It's so much more versatile. Now, there's some things about the T-Pod Play I do like better than this clipper. A couple of little things. But this clipper right now has been my favorite go-to adjustable clipper because of how versatile that it is. And that is, once again from Andis, the Phenom clipper. The fact that it has the detachable heads, the super powerful brushless motor, it has good battery life. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it has a really good battery life. And it does have the click. It doesn't matter for me, click or floating. It really doesn't matter. But it has a click. I'm cool with the click. But once again, the versatility of this is such that if I want to slap on the fat blade, same clipper, just on and off real fast. One clipper. So my one clipper for this is going to be the Phenom. It's powerful enough to cut through everything. It's versatile enough to where you can taper well with it, fade well with it, even debulk with it. It's a very powerful clipper. So Pulse ZR and the Phenom. So that's detachable, adjustable. So what's next? Trimmer. And guys, once again, I mean, we're looking at a sweep right now because for those of you who have said that Andis is no longer viable, I don't get it. I don't think that you're trying their newest tools then, because yeah, they may be more old school, and maybe that, maybe the sexiness of, Stylecraft and Babyliss and T-Pod, maybe that's your thing. And look, I love tools from all those brands. But right now, the best blade on the market for trimmers, and this trimmers, you're looking at debalding, putting in sharp lines, and letting it be comfortable on the skin. It's this new XO2, guys. And it shouldn't be a surprise. Last year's trimmer of the year for me was the Black Label XO. This doesn't have all the bells and whistles that a lot of trimmers do, but with the updated motor and that M-Force blade, it's not necessarily the fact that it's that magnetic hold, which is really cool. It does take down friction that makes it harder to work with and, drains the battery faster, all that stuff. But the Comfort Edge cutting blade that Andis has perfected, there's nothing else in the industry like it. They have led trimmer blades for so long. And here's okay, so since I do have some insider viewpoints, this is what I'll say about Andis. And I've told them this. Like, to me, it's almost like a moot point because I've told them that, in my opinion, they have perfected the trimmer blade. This M-Force blade, I can't imagine one better. I really can't. But they're not resting on their laurels of that. I have not seen a single company, and now granted, I don't work with every company the way I do with Andis. They've not offered that to me yet. And I'm not exclusive with Andis. That's why I can be critical of them whenever time for that happens and not feel weird or bad about it. I'm not exclusive with any company. I'm not going to be. But the fact that they have already landed such an amazing blade with the M-Force blade, you would think the innovation is going to stop. It hasn't. Since the M-Force blade's creation, since it released I guess this time last year with the Black Label GTX XO. They have probably sent me 10 blades, 10 other blades to test out with different cutting blades, different steel blades, different tooth configurations. They are not going to just sit there and be satisfied. And I've not seen, like I said, I don't work with these other companies the same way, but I've not seen any other companies put the heart and the soul of what they do into the blades like Andis does. And maybe it's just insider bias because I do have insight into what they're doing and what they're trying to be doing. I highly respect the drive to not just be satisfied with what I even consider perfection. They want to do better if they can do better. So hats off to you guys. I mean, so far, you're 3 of 3. I've got the Pulse ZR for my detachable, my adjustable is the Phenom, and my trimmer is the XO2. And if any of you have ever used these tools, an argument can be made for a few other tools to replace them according to personal preference, but this is my 3 right now. Foil shaver. The sweep is no longer continuing. Foil shaver for me, man, at first I was resistant to it a little bit, but I've really come around to the ergonomics, to the power of the motor of the FX1 stick shaver. I've got this one, the blue one, and the green one. And man, it's the blue one's at my other shop. This thing is so powerful. It's so powerful. The foils just eat through the hair fast. Now, another good shaver is the Research, the Andis Research. I do love this shaver a lot. But you've heard me say before, this is a soft shaver. If I'm needing to do some finesse cutting or some blending, I'll reach for this. But if I had to have one shaver, one of each tool, so this rounds it off with the 4 tools I would need to cut every haircut I do, I'm going with this. I think that the flexible head is a little gimmicky because I have not seen the use for it. Whenever it is unlocked, it just barely moves. But gimmick aside, this is a powerhouse of a shaver. And nobody does shavers like Babyliss. That should just be spoken. So far, nobody does shavers like Babyliss. And so let's say you're not a stick shaver person. So let's take this away. What would be my brick shaver of choice? Well, once again, I would go with the single UV. Now the double UV is just as powerful, but it's heavier, it's bulkier. And I like the single UV to kind of get behind the ears and stuff. It's good for detail work. So either one of these I'll take, but this right here is the one I'm selecting to be the rounding off of my top 4. We got the Pulse or a Supra, pretty much the same clipper. The Pulse is for what they use for animal grooming. Uses the same blades. It is faster. It has a blade lock, and I like it better. For the adjustable, the Phenom. For the trimmer, the XO2 from Andis. So 3 Andis tools. And for shavers, easy Babyliss. Stick shaver, the FX1. Gosh, there's so many weird names to remember. So that's your 4. Now, I don't cut hair that way. So if this is my 4, you know that these are on my station. These are what I enjoy on my station. This is what I work with the most. Whenever I'm using these tools, they're grabbed constantly. Whenever I take them off the charging stand in the morning, they are usually on my cutting mat all day until they need to charge and I put them back. But come on, we all don't cut that way. I'm that guy that has 7 trimmers, if not more, on his station. I'm the guy who's got 6 or 7 clippers, if not more, on his station. I think I've got 4 or 5 shavers. So I'm the guy who loves working with different tools. So if I was going to add something to this, where would I add it? Well, let's start with the clippers. Like I said, man, the play would be my next add-in, my substitution. The lightweight, the quiet feel of the play, the smooth click arm. I do like the chunk blade a lot, but on this right here, I've got the XO blade. I just feel like, man, and honestly, I can even say for sure if he did this to be this much on purpose. T-Pop made a legendary clipper pretty fast. The play is legendary to me. I think it's a much better clipper than the Magic Clip ever was. I think it is a superior clipper. Maybe not in versatility, but I think it's a superior clipper to the Envy, and the Envy 2 as well. The Envy 2, I mean, it has some very interesting capabilities. The fact that it can use both blades, but we're seeing that kind of same mentality coming from T-Pop with creating brackets for that too. Which I can't mention brackets and mods without also tipping my hat to Filthy for being the guy who really took that to the stratosphere as far as barbers who are not tinkerers being able to have access to these mods. So Filthy Blends, thank you, brother. You've given a lot to the community, and I appreciate you. But the T-Pop play, it's so functional. It's so quiet. It cuts so well and so clean. That would be my first sub in. I have another sub in. So this is once again another clipper. And this is just because it's fun to work with. It's fun to use, fun to cut. And believe it or not, it's the VGR Muscular. That, I think it's the V285, I believe is the number designation on that. Man, I love this clipper. It doesn't have the best battery life. I'm finding that out. But regardless, I love this little clipper, guys. If you were looking for a cheap, fun clipper to have on your station that you won't want to put down, it's this right here. I do have a Super Pro taper blade put on it because I didn't like the BGR blade. Gosh, I love this tool, man. I love it. It's going to be a mainstay for me for a while. I wish they had different colorways, like a blue or something would be nice. I don't mind the yellow. It's fine. It's whatever. But I love it, man. I love that little clipper. And so what would be my next substitution? Well, I was tempted to pick a different trimmer to be my substitution for the XO. And despite the fact that my first impressions of this trimmer was so bad, it's kind of crazy how much I've come around to it. And I've tried it with the Softy blade. I've tried it with the Crazy blade and the Psycho blade. But the play with the Softy blade, the play trimmer, has left a big impact. It's so smooth. It's the closest thing I've found to what the M-Force blade does as far as smoothness on the skin. It doesn't pull, it doesn't hurt. It actually may be a little softer on the skin than the M-Force, if that's even possible. But it doesn't cut as crisp of lines, and it doesn't cut as cleanly and aggressively as the M-Force does, with keeping that softness of blade. So to me, the XO2 is a superior blade. The M-Force is a superior blade. But man, this little trimmer, for one thing, it's so quiet. That's such a quiet tool. And I love quiet tools. But yeah, so I mean, rounding off there, and like I mentioned, I'm going to go ahead and throw the Resurge in there and the UV right there. So I've got 2 trimmers, 3 adjustables, 3 foils, and a detachable. That right there is probably about what I cut with daily. Now, whenever I'm trying a new tool, I just throw it in the mix and I cut with it quite a bit. But as you can see, I have a diversity of liking for this. Now, what trimmers are on my station right now? Well, I have a couple I can't mention because they're prototypes, but I've got 2 XO2s on my station, 2 XO black labels on my station. Some of them have blades that y'all don't know about yet, but they're there. I have 2 play trimmers on my station. I have the Softy blade and I have the Psycho blade for the play. Then I have the, believe it or not, the Stylecraft Evo, the little bitty trimmer that kind of paired up with the Ergo a little bit, the Evo. And on that one, I've got the Precision X Pro blade from Stylecraft, which In the small blade category, I know that so far what we have in that small blade category is we have the pencil blade from T-Pob. I hate that blade. I hate it. That blade is trash. Hate that blade. We have that blade, and we have the slimline blade, which in my estimation, in my feelings, needs to be reconfigured, restructured to be more like the M-Force blade. And so that's the competition for the Precision X Pro. And the Precision X Pro is perfection so far. It's super smooth on the skin. Now, is it as smooth as the Softy or the M-Force? No. But if adjusted properly, which is not the easiest to get exactly right, it's smooth on the skin, but cut super short, super good. I like that pairing of 10,000 RPMs little trimmer in the Evo with that small blade is just a nice pairing. And it feels kind of like a modernized slimline, honestly. That whenever I pick that trimmer up, I feel slimline vibes as far as what I'm going to be doing with it, because whenever I'm doing designs, stuff like that, that'll be what I go to because it's not as wide of a blade, so I have more flexibility for what kind of lines I'm going to be putting in. So I've got that on my station, and I also have the Saber on my station as well. Now, my other station down in Alabama, it also has some tools that I don't have here. I do have the X Deluxe from T-Pob, the white X Deluxe. I love that trimmer. I love that trimmer. It is a powerful and surprisingly quiet trimmer. I have another black label XO. I have another XO2 down there. And I have the FX1, the blue FX1, and I have the T45 blade on that one. So it's just a fun thing to do with that. So I have that down there too, and that's also a great trimmer. Just the regular FX1, the staple, the flashlight handle one. Having that with that T45 MIM blade, oh, that's a good pairing. It's a really good pairing. So that's my trimmer setups right now. And like I said, whenever I'm trying out a new one, it's in the mix, but these trimmers are the ones that I rely on the most and enjoy the most. I had a Cyborg at one point. I chose the Saber over it to keep. I may slightly regret that because they're very similar, but I mean, the X Pro blade that's on that one is also a very, very, very good blade. Kind of hard to argue with. So clippers on my station that I use on a regular basis. Like I said, I keep a lot of them on there. I have the Emerge. I have the Pulse ZR. Those are my detachables I have. I have several different NV2s with fat blades, couple other blades that y'all can't know about. I have Phenoms, trimmers, and clippers on both stations here and down there. So I have 3 plays up here and 3 plays down there. The 3 plays up here, I have the Crunch blade, I have the Blur blade, and I have the XO blade. Down there, I have the XO blade, I have another Blur blade, and then I have the Blur Crunch blade, which I'm going to be doing a review on here soon. That's an interesting little blade. But I have those in those different places. And I have a couple of tools that I can't mention that I'm using heavily as well. Just as heavily as I use this little dude right here. But that's my daily roundup. As far as shavers go, I have the Resurge, both UV foils. I have the T-Pob Play foil, which review on that dropping soon. There's tons of stuff I get to play with, and I'm very appreciative of what I get to work with on my station. And as you can see, guys, I mean, I've got other tools I can play with more, enjoy more. I am starting to re-enjoy the T45 clipper. I think it is an underappreciated tool, but it's not to where I'm still grabbing it as much as I'd probably think I would like to. I don't know. Just not doing that yet. But that's what I'm working with on the daily. So if you guys are ever wondering, like, well, what tools am I working with to compare and contrast with? To me, the best way for me to tell what a tool is worth is to compare it with what I already think is the best. And that's what I'm doing. So whenever I'm working with a new tool, I am comparing it to what I think is the best in their category and or comparative tools like it. So if I've got a new FX1 clipper coming in, I'm probably not going to sit here and compare it all that much to a tool way different than that. I'm going to compare it to like tools. Whenever I do get a chance, hopefully soon, whenever I do get a chance to work with the Babeless Compact Low Pro, I'm going to be comparing it with like the Play and this, because they're small, because they're quiet, they're flexible. It's that kind of thinking. So when it comes to blades, I try to keep blades in their categories too. I'm going to keep the small blades in their own category and the wider blades in theirs. But I'm just trying to give you guys the best knowledge I can. Life is busy right now, so I'm juggling a lot, but I love this channel. And by the way, guys, I'm almost at 3,000 subscribers, and I cannot thank y'all enough for subscribing and watching these videos. Truly, 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 thank you. And I really appreciate what you guys do. I don't know when or if I'm going to get the live thing going. Still considering it, but it's a lot of work for me mentally right now with juggling everything I'm juggling. So I may actually just get on here and answer some of y'all's questions that you've put in the comment section of some of my videos I just haven't gotten to yet. That might be a little weird way of doing a question and answer, but I've just thought of it while sitting here saying that. If you guys have any questions that you want me to answer, opinion-based or cutting-based, whatever, drop them in the comments below. And this next SOB episode, I'll answer them. How about that? So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, critiques, if you want to talk crap about me, if you want to say, dude, what's up with your hair? Why you so weird looking? All that stuff, drop it down below. It's fine. I'll answer anything that is not too personal. But guys, thank you for watching. I'd love to hear your lineups down below. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Please click that like button, subscribe, share this with your barber friends. Let's get this community growing. Let's keep those comments humble and kind, and as always, I'll check you guys in the next one.